Welcome to the Burn Bootcamp podcast. I'm your host, Morgan Kline, co-founder and CEO, along with my husband and company visionary, Devan Kline.
And together, with our amazing team, we are going to help you push past your limits, not just physically in our gyms, but right here, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually on the Burn Bootcamp podcast.
Together, we will take on challenges and break through barriers to transform into the best possible version of ourselves. We are more than a gym. We are a community. Your community. Let's go, Burn Nation. I'm your host, Morgan Kline, CEO and co-founder of Burn Bootcamp, alongside my co-host here, Devan Kline, visionary of Burn Bootcamp. And we've got our special HQ crew in the house. That's a tongue twister. But I'm excited. We got some new faces we're going to introduce here in a minute, but we are going into 4th of July, Independence Day, celebrating our country. We're going to talk about nutrition while you're on vacation, the truth behind fad dieting, and lots more really, really good stuff of what's happening in Burn Nation. So thank you guys, as always, for being here. Devan, how are you doing today?
It's July 3rd, and I love America. So July 4th is tomorrow, America's birthday, and we're celebrating. I know I don't have burn gear on my upper body right now. I do have burn shorts on. I have the burn shorts on. Hold on. You got to see these kicks. You got to see these. Ready? Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. And you still have a tag on them. Wow.
My nephew, Jaden, started a shoe business, and he sold me the red, white, and burn blue shoes. So
I like it.
I can't get down from here. Hold on.
Watch our podcast equipment here in the studio.
Go. So, no, I'm excited. Thanks for being here, everybody. And we hope to bring you an amazing episode today here on 405. Shayla, I'm excited you're here. Trish, back to co-host. And, just everything's really good right now. I feel good. Summertime.
Yeah. Summertime, baby.
Let's go.
Yeah. No, I'm so excited. This is my second time back on the new Burn Bootcamp podcast, and I love being here. We have some really fun topics. I say fun because I'm actually really interested in the topics we're covering today. And it's also, I feel like summertime is a vibe. Like I have 3 kids, they're at home, and like we get to do, like, it's just a different schedule. It's like laid back, but like still busy.
Not as rushed.
It's not as rushed. Yeah. It just feels better for me. So I'm feeling great. I also really enjoy Independence Day and, vacations planned and all the fun things. And I'm also so excited to have Shayla here. Welcome, Shayla.
Thank you. I'm Shayla Morrow. I'm the director of retail at Burn Bootcamp headquarters. And if you're out there repping any burn gear, I am one of the women that is behind that. We've got a great team, but I'm really excited to be here, cover these topics, and
Yeah, and as you guys know, Bryce is on the podcast. He calls himself the average burn bro, Shayla, but this is Bryce's better half. So I just had to make sure I said that. But we missed Bryce today, but we're happy to have you here for sure.
Yeah, it's a toss-up. I'll take Shayla.
He's the funny one. Yeah. I'll see how I can.
And I can make fun of him. He's my buddy.
Yeah. So all right. So like we've all said, we've got some really great topics for today's podcast. But as always, we like to kick it off with what is going on in the burn world, what's happening in Burn Nation. So we are going to start with our July monthly focus. So as you guys know, we've had this year in 2024, every month we have something that you focus on while you're at camp. So, and the progress that you can make in the beginning of the camp and at the end of the camp. So in July, we've already kicked this off, but in July, you're focusing on your gait. Okay.
Gait.
G-A-I-T, not the normal way of spelling it. So gait. It is the manner in which you walk or your stride. So how are we testing you? We are going to be doing farmer's carries in the gym. So farmer's carries are when you're holding weights to your side, and we're using the weight that you use and how many laps you finish. So you're going to track this in week 1 and then see your progress over the course of the week and the month, and we'll be constantly focused on that.
I want to give people a visual on gait. Okay, so the Olympics have an event, and it's speed walking. You ever seen speed walking?
No, I did not know that was.
No, it's totally an event.
Is it a summer Olympic or a winter Olympic?
It is a summer Olympic Games. It's on the track.
Okay, so we're right on track.
It's speed walking. Okay, and so what they do is the rule is you have to have a heel and a toe on the ground at the same time. So if you have your like in running, you're in the air for a brief moment, and you're never in the air in speed walking. I think that's like a good simple explanation of it. So you can imagine, if you've ever seen the speed walking event in the Olympics, if you just put dumbbells in your hand and do that, that's what gait is. That's what farmers carries are. And that's how we're testing strength and testing gait. And then on the conditioning side, we'll test it with sprinting. Although we won't track that as much, we'll focus on the farmers carry. But you'll also have a monthly focus on sprinting, point A to point B, acceleration.
Yeah.
Did you know that, and I read this somewhere, somebody can fact check me on this if they'd like to, but I read a study, I have to bring it up, I don't remember where it is, I read a lot of stuff, but it was over 90% of people over the age of 30 will never run a sprint again in their entire life. What? They'll never be at top speed. 90% after the age of 30 will never run a sprint again.
Not us. Not at Burn.
No.
Not at Burn?
Okay, so really quickly, going back to the farmers carries, because we've got 3 moms in the room. I feel like I do that every day when I bring groceries in, or I bring all the kids stuff in, or we are past the infant stage of holding it like right on your elbow. But I feel like we train for that every day.
Might be why I like that.
I was going to say, anytime we do farmers carries in camp, I literally think about groceries, or I think about those moments when I had the car seat on my arm, because that's literally what we're doing.
Or a baby and the car seat. I mean, we've all been there. It's crazy. So if you don't care about your progress, just think about the practical use of farmers carries can have in your everyday life.
It's the human movement patterns. There's 12 of them, 7 essential and 5 secondary. And it's all the things that we do all the time. Push doors open, pull jugs out of the fridge, carry groceries inside. So we try to protocol and program to impact your life practically as well as physically.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I like it. And make sure you guys are tagging Burn Boot Camp on your progress. We'd love to see it, love to share it. So, Trish, what do we got next? Yes. We have a new category on our app.
We do, Morgan. Burn On Demand. We just released our 15th or 16th category. So this one's called Road Trip. And we're really excited about this to come out during the summer, because basically all you need is 3 pieces of equipment and you are set. So there's 7 different pieces of content in this category. And I say pieces of content because 6 of them are workout specific. So if you think about our protocol and you go to camp and you're used to Burn Boot Camp, when we roll out our protocol, it's 6 days. So we wanted this to match our protocol. So it's 6 workouts, 3 of them are strength and 3 of them are conditioning. And then we have a recovery. So when you're on vacation, maybe you're getting ready to get back in the car and you want to do a little stretch, you want to do a little foam rolling or whatever it is, we will have that programmed within this category. So really it's just a one-stop shop for you. And we called it Road Trip because it doesn't have to just be utilized during the summer months. So if we live in North Carolina, where our headquarters are in Cornelius, a lot of us vacation to the beach. So if we're going in the car, we can just pack our dumbbells and a jump rope and then find a box, and that's all we need. But let's say I'm planning a trip to the mountains in the fall. We can also go back to this road trip category and just pack the same thing. So it's really great if you're going on a trip and with all your kids, you don't have to pack that many pieces of equipment, and you can still stay in your routine, which we know is important for us at Burn Boot Camp. We talk about lifestyle, right? So it keeps you in that routine, and you also get Matt Morris for 7 days.
Oh boy.
Good luck with that, guys.
Good luck with that one.
What I love about this category and just the way we've programmed it is it takes the guesswork out of it. Like you said, if you just follow that 6th day and then the 7th day recovery, or you can put recovery in the middle of the week if you feel like your body needs it. Because we have over 150 pieces of content on the app, may even be more.
We have over 500.
Oh, sorry. Excuse me. Wow. 500. I'm way off. So obviously we already have stuff out there, but again, this program can just take that guesswork out if you're going for a week-long vacation, and you can keep your streak. So if you didn't know that, if you are focused on your streak in the gym and your Keep Moving Club, that translates right into on demand. So you never have to break it.
All right, Keep Moving Club check. Where you at, Shay?
I'm not, you know what?
Where you at, Morg?
I have a problem with this because I'm not good at signing in.
Well, that sounds like a you
thing. It is a personal problem.
76 for me. I'm on my way to 100.
Good job.
Where you at?
See, it's not accurate.
See, listen, you need to, okay, so where are you at in your head? And then
in my head, yes. I'm at 70.
Okay.
On the app, I'm at 50.
Oh, I see you working, so I know you're up there.
Yeah,
what about you?
When I do the lives, I don't do it. And I didn't do it when we were in Michigan. So that's my problem. But anyways.
Well, when you do the lives, it's automatic. All you have to do is...
No, I take the live camps here.
The lives on camera.
Yeah.
Okay,
anyways,
gotcha.
where are you at, Trish? I know you're good at keeping track, right?
I'm at 89, but I will say I have done a lot of lives recently.
Yeah.
And so I'm well, I should in my head, I'm at 100.
Yeah.
In my head,
hold on.
You
guys are confusing lives because they're not, people listening won't assume that you're in the studio actually doing it. They're going to assume that. So you're on studio streaming for people.
Yes.
And you're not counting that. But when they do a burnout on demand workout on app, that counts every time.
Yes.
Every time.
Sorry,
okay. I just want to make sure we're clear.
We need to just start watching ourselves back, and then it'll count towards our
There you go.
I know.
Work out with yourself.
Yeah.
Is that as weird as like hearing yourself talk?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it. But
Yeah.
What about you, Shay? Where are you at?
I'm under 50.
Okay. I like
And that's okay.
I'm
That's
getting
all
a
right.
lot of movement outside right now, which is good for me.
Yeah.
50 camps is that milestone. That's a big milestone. 50 times even in 1 year is a big deal for a lot of people. Yeah.
Well, and like Shayla said, there's so many other ways to keep moving. And that's an evolution of the app that we want to figure out how to incorporate, because we know that like burn isn't the only way that people keep moving. And we want to make sure we incentivize them and make them feel good about their activity without, feeling ashamed of that number. Because that's not what it's there for. No. It's there to motivate.
Right.
So, all right. What do we got next, Devan? We have a new location in Burn Nation.
Yes, we do. I'm sorry. Before I move on to that.
You're still looking at your Keep Moving Club?
Because you just made me think about something, because I've been running a lot, and I use Map My Run, and I know we've been speaking about like the evolution of the app and like you're saying, how to incorporate more of the lifestyle outside of Burn. And
Yeah, like it'd be cool to
I'm trying to
incorporate
figure
that
out
in,
how
like,
many
your step
miles I've
count.
ran.
Yeah. Yep. We're working on it.
Okay. I'll figure this out later. No one cares about how many miles I've ran. Okay. Short hard sprints. All right, here we go. Location number 403, everybody. Full Shear, Texas. Aaron and Jacob Parker. And listen, I met Aaron when I was in Cinco Ranch at Trisha Moreno's location, and she was so passionate about opening Full Shear. She's like, I don't want to open anywhere else. This is my community. It's in my backyard. I want to bring Burn here. And she had an accounting background too, which is really great for Burn Bootcamp because you're running a business and there's finances that are involved. And that and her sales history had set her up for the past 15 years to step into Burn and to kill it. Her husband, Jacob, is a sales manager, and together they have 3 children. So it's a family business now. They got a ton of background. They're going to run an amazing location. Location number 403 is here in Full Shear, Texas, which is in the Houston area. So I cannot wait to get to that location when it does open. And shout out to Aaron, shout out to Jacob and the whole Full Shear community, as well as Cinco Ranch for really being the seed that was planted there for Aaron to experience the lifestyle that so many of us fall in love with. And, that's what percentage, Morgan, at this point of our franchise partners are actually members first, roughly?
I would say, I don't have this verbatim, but I would say 90%. Yeah.
It's a high percentage, isn't it?
Yep.
It's just such a powerful thing.
Yeah. Well, I think it actually segues us really great into the Burn story, because it's one of my favorites of just the journey that people can take throughout Burn. So this is Ashley Ivester's story from Athens, Georgia. So Ashley has been part of the Burn Bootcamp Athens, Georgia family for 3 years. However, prior to Burn in 2019, Ashley was pregnant with her second baby. And then due to complications, she was placed on strict bed rest and at 20 weeks. So she obviously had to spend a lot of time not moving, not being able to take care of herself in that capacity. And so then between becoming on bed rest for 6 weeks and then 3 months in the NICU with her baby, she gained weight and didn't have the willpower to get into that workout routine. She was mainly living day to day, making sure their little miracle was thriving until she was able to come home, which is totally understandable. And then August of 2022, she walked into the doors of Burn Athens for the first time, and she has never looked back. She says she's walked in almost every day, and she said the community is unmatched. Burn has strengthened her physical and mental, strengthened her physically and mentally and given her so much confidence. Since joining, she has completed her first level up games. She placed third, and she finished the SAC, which is our strength and conditioning test, in 10 minutes. And now she's taken on the floating floor as a trainer.
Ooh, 10 minutes?
Incredible.
Yeah. So I what I mean by that, like, these are my favorite stories, is seeing members turn trainers, maybe franchise partners next for you, Ashley. Because we see it all the time. People they want to do more. They want to be able to give more. And I think this is just a perfect example. So Ashley, congratulations on your transformation, on this story. Keep inspiring other people because, you know, bed rest and NICU, that's something that a lot of women have to go through. Yep. And during that time, you are focused on baby and you put yourself on the back burner like many mothers do. And so congrats on getting back into it and being that strong example for your family.
Yeah, I love that. Her story, I resonate so much with it because my second was also in NICU, and it's like you're pouring so much of your time, effort, and energy and emotions into your child. I'm so proud of her for kind of realizing she needs to do something for herself, and now she's gaining that confidence. And something that I like to say during Burn You is, which our franchise partners come to, is I open up our marketing sessions by like saying we're an emotional brand, and kind of to your point, like once you experience the brand, and I don't mean this as like a salesy, but once you feel it and it's changed you, all you want to do is then go share it with other people because you know how much it helped you. So it's really cool for her to do that and now take this next step as trainer. That's awesome.
Yeah. And congrats on SAC in 10 minutes. That's no easy feat.
No.
So. Well, my comment on this is first of all, I'm proud of you, Ashley, like deeply, because what you're doing is you're doing what most people won't, and putting intentionally things in front of you that you know you're going to need to become a better person, right? To overcome yourself, to overcome your doubts and your fears and your shames, and you're putting it in front of you intentionally so that you can get on the other side knowing that it's going to be hard. And that's what most people don't do. And that's why I'm proud of you. So I wanted to not just say, Ashley, I'm proud of you for the 10-minute SAC, because that's material. I'm proud of you for recognizing that there's levels to yourself and that you're able to ascend to those levels when you put something physical in your way. We always talk about burn being the anchor, the workout, you're being the anchor to your life, and being the proof that you're prioritizing yourself, because you can actually tangibly like look at it on an app called the Keep Moving Club, and you can see yourself doing it every day. So congrats, atta girl. Woo.
And as always, guys, we love hearing stories in Burn Nation. So send it to @BurnBootCamp or Devan and I on social media. Because we are constantly looking and we love sharing your stories here on the podcast. So, all right, we are moving on to our first Q&A. So this one comes from Brett at our Apple Valley, Minnesota location. And he asks, how can burn help people that have an injury they are overcoming or had significant change to the body? So I can kick it off for me. I haven't ever had severe injuries throughout my time at Burn. I've definitely like had shoulders and wrists that bother me, but nothing that's super.
Had a baby.
Yeah, but baby. So that's changes to my body. I've done that 3 times. I've always been with Burn since I've been pregnant. So yeah, I think that for me, Burn has helped because of our ability to mod up, mod down, give you baseline, give you really have that one-on-one approach when people walk in. And so I've always had the trainers that will say, okay, you just had a baby. Here's how we're going to modify because your abs are not back to normal. And they give me that encouragement that that's okay to modify. You're not going to be as strong as you were before. So Burn, that's how we train people when they come through Burn University. That's the programs that we have. And that's how we build our protocol and programming, is to say, here's the baseline workout. Here's how you're going to modify down. Here's how you're going to modify up. We have entire courses around modifications for pregnancy or postpartum. We've done a lot of ongoing training for our trainers to be able to implement that. And, some injuries, you need more help, but for sure it's our trainers' knowledge and the way that we program the fitness product. So that would be my answer.
I'm interested to hear your 2 stories on this, like from your personal perspective. And then I think I'll give like a trainer perspective and how we think as a body of trainers.
Yeah. I also have not had any like major changes, but I think our whole thing is we meet everyone where they are.
Yeah.
And so whether you're coming into camp late and you can't talk with the trainer is more than likely paying attention and notices when you're off. Like they always notice if I'm doing something different or modding down. Yeah. So having that conversation and getting that information, and then also the focus meetings I think are so important. Just also nutrition is a huge part of, healing your body and getting back to where you are, getting stronger.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's how I feel.
That's a huge point. Yeah. That isn't the physical. It's what you're nourishing your body with. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. I feel like we're all so blessed because I also have not had any injuries since that burn.
We all need to like knock on wood right now.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, but I've had kids. I've gone through pregnancy at burn. And then I've also had a surgery to where, so I'll speak because Morgan kind of hit on the pregnancy stuff, which was super helpful for me with our trainers. And, we have some trainers that have some really great certifications that help you with that and keep you safe. But when I had surgery, I was really nervous that I was going to lose all the progress I had made. Mm-hmm. But what was really interesting was, I talked with the trainers and they helped me with specific exercises that I could do to maintain. And so when I came back and I was recovered from that surgery, I was somehow, and I also credit nutrition because I had just started creatine at the time, or I had been on creatine as well. I was able to actually progress even further, faster, even though I was battling this surgery. So to me, it's a testament to Burn Boot Camp. It's a testament to the fact that we do have certified personal trainers who actually know what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. So when they're talking to me, I'm trusting them and I'm doing the movements that they're doing. So that's kind of my experience. Yeah. You want to go into the trainer side?
Yeah. So, when people hear Burn Boot Camp, the word boot camp often throws people off because traditionally a boot camp has been something where you're outside, you're outdoors, your body weight, it's a lot of sprinting, a lot of bear crawls, dirty. I kind of like that stuff too, but sustainability over the long run is important. This is a lifestyle. And so, you can't do bear crawls every day, for 150 yards. You can't sprint every day for 150 yards. I bring my professional background into this where a professional baseball background into this where recovery is more important than the performance training. And so, it's not every day is the same thing where you're just in this, focused on VO2 max and your anaerobic capacity and pushing the threshold of, what your body's able to do from a lactic acid threshold standpoint. This is about strength training for 3 days, sometimes 4, conditioning for 3 days, sometimes 4. Or sometimes 2, but a healthy combination of both of those things is really important to longevity, because when you're lifting and you're focused on your shoulders, your rate of perceived exertion, it's still at a 10. You're still working really hard, meaning that you're putting all of your effort into it. It's just concentrated. The energy is concentrated into those deltoid muscles, not into a full body gait like we're focusing on in July. And so our trainers are taught to ask one simple question, not to be a mentality where, we're not set out to say how tough can we be to the detriment of our members. We're saying how tough can we be to the point in which they reach a new level of confidence today. Mm-hmm. And the main question we ask is, how does your body feel? Hey, your body feels good, right? No, that's not the right question. It's pre-assumptive. We want to ask, how does your body feel? No, look at me, Morgan. Tell me how your body feels, because you're allowed to then say, that opens the doorway for you to say, my left knee hurts or my right shoulder hurts. Unfortunately, I don't have the same story as you guys. I get hurt all the time because I'm not saying that you don't really push it, but I have these injuries that are from baseball. So I have all this asymmetry in my body where global imbalance is there and I pretend like there isn't, and I do something, I pop my right shoulder because I'm, overemphasize, whatever reason.
But you've never had a major surgery.
Never a major surgery. No, but I've definitely had instances I pulled my hamstring the other week. Well, that's not because you guys I'm working hard, you're not. It's because I was being stupid and you're being smart.
Yeah, you didn't warm
right?
up.
Lengthening.
I
wasn't taking my own advice, lengthening and strength. So how does your body feel? That's the question you should be asked. And if the body is injured, not feeling its best, then our trainers will modify to just reallocate the energy away from sprints and maybe into your shoulders.
Yeah. I think overall too, it's just knowing and having the confidence that at Burn Boot Camp, we're training these trainers that fitness is going to look slightly different for everybody. And it's an individual thing. It is not a look at the entire room and they all need to be doing the same thing. And some trainers or some, classes are ran that way where it's just here's the workout, do it. Versus, like you said, Shayla, they can tell if I'm off a little bit, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. And we're not trying to push everybody to the same level. It's relative to their fitness level, to what is hard for them or what injuries they have.
And you guys have probably seen this in Lake Norman. But definitely when I was full-time training, I would have people that would get injured. They would roll their ankle playing basketball with their kids in the driveway or something, but they don't want to stop their progress because there's a happiness that's associated to making progress every day. So speaking of modification, there'd be sometimes I can remember a story where I modified Dana Staz because she was in a boot and it was at the Huntersville gym. And for like 3 months, she would come 6 days a week and I would just have a little side program for her. She would sit on a box, like a plyometric box. She was not allowed to walk or put any pressure on it at all, though she would try. I'd be like, Dana, you're still in a boot, like get on that box. And she would rotate, like circuit train between shoulder raises and all types of upper body moves. So we're gonna meet members where they are.
Yeah, good. All right, so we are going to segue into our first health and fitness headline, and it is the truth behind fad dieting. So we had an article from Forbes that really just talked about, do fad diets really work and which ones do work? And so, it talked a little bit about keto diet, paleo, what else? Probably the Mediterranean diet, Whole30. So obviously we can sit here and name off a bunch of different diets, and we're going to go around and just kind of talk a little bit about each of our philosophies and also the Burn Bootcamp philosophy when it comes to dieting and fad diets and quick weight loss things that are out there. And so, yeah, who wants to kick it off for us?
I'm happy to go. For the longest time, I think like most women, like I've struggled with like my physical, like not eating disorder per se, but just my physical appearance. And I think I still do. It depends on the day. And so of course with that, I've done a lot of yo-yo dieting, like what's worked in my Instagram scroll. Before I came to Burn Bootcamp, I would, be like, maybe I should do the Atkins or maybe I should do whatever Oprah was doing or selling at the time. And it wasn't really until I came to Burn and had my focus meetings, which was super important for me, where I actually started to learn about nutrition. So for me, like I really do think it's a personal preference, like what works for you, because my brain, I can't, for whatever reason, I can't stick to like only no carbs. I can't stick to whatever else is out there. Like I need to do what's best for me. And so while some of these fad diets might work really well for them, it just doesn't for me. So I think I had to go through some trial and error to really understand what my body needs. And then making sure that in those focus meetings, when I first started, that I was still getting the macronutrients that I needed, really learn the importance of protein. That's also why I wanted to become a trainer and like learn for myself. So then I had the education to not only help myself, but help my kids, help my family. I really understand like, you just got to do what's best for your body and make sure you're feeling your body properly. So that's kind of now how I live my life. Again, you can do whatever you want from a fad diet perspective if that works for you. And maybe you need that like to challenge yourself. I totally get that. But for me, it's just consistent. I eat like the same thing every single day. Yeah. And I'm cool with that. It works for me.
Makes you feel good.
It makes me feel good. And I also have I have sensitive stomach. So like some things are going to like hurt my stomach. So I just have learned to listen to my body and do what's best for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I feel like I haven't really jumped on the like fad dieting bandwagon. I've tried things. I think keto is one where I've heard it's worked for people and they've dropped the weight, but it's not sustainable for them. And it's definitely not a one size fits all. Whole30 I did try, and while I didn't stay on it, I think if we're talking about long term, I will still use some of those recipes and just go back to that to kind of clean things up a bit. And then I know intermittent fasting is in that category as well. And that's something that I just did my whole life because I'm not hungry in the morning. But when I was working with actually Dr. Height, she's like, you need to be eating protein in the morning and having water because that's why you're crashing in the afternoon. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'm not hungry. And she's like, I didn't ask if you're hungry. Like, this is what your body needs. And if I did eat, it was oatmeal, and that wasn't working for my blood sugar and my energy levels. And so I had to move that out. And I think if you're going to approach it, I do this with my kids too. Like if my daughter comes home and tells me, oh, I heard this, like, well, allegedly, it's not a fact. You don't know. And I always encourage them to fact check things. And I think if you look into these fad diets, there's probably 5 other articles debunking what is in there. Yeah. So I would just say do your due diligence and see what works for you.
Very true. I feel I have a lot to thoughts on this whole fad dieting.
Tell us those thoughts.
And I'm like, where do I want to go with this? Because do fad diets work? We'll define work, right? Because there are diets out there that you can go lose like a quick 30 pounds maybe, but the answer is, does it work long term? Mm-hmm. Do you gain it right back? And when you do gain it back, are you gaining more back? Mm-hmm. From my experience working with a lot of our members is fad diets can definitely help you, but then if it's not something that's sustainable and you feel deprived of something that you want, you are most likely going to end that diet and you're going to go binge on the things that you weren't giving yourself permission to give. And I've done that. Like I've been in a restrictive diet before and it would make me overeat on the cheat days, or it would make me, when I got off something, I would go gain weight. Mm-hmm. And so for that reason, I don't love fad diets and I don't like putting people in a box. And I think that's what like these keto or these paleo or, you know, Whole30 even, it puts them in a box and it restricts you from eating things. And maybe it's okay for your body to eat those things. Like, let's talk about gluten for a minute. Like I actually feel my best when I don't put gluten in my body. It's hard though. It is hard that gluten is hiding in a lot of things. And so I try my best, but I don't restrict. So I also, like to your point, Trish, I've learned over time what my body reacts to well and then what it doesn't react to well. And so I'm not on any type of diet. And I do think that that's an important thing for our listeners is like what works for your friend isn't going to work for you because all of us have different guts and our bodies react to different ingredients and different types of food. Some people do need more fat. Some people do need more carbs. And so, I don't know. I don't like being put in a box of that. And I feel like it's a quick fix. And it just reminds me of like the days when I would restrict. And I think that's one of the most dangerous things we can encourage people to do is restrict themselves from a type of food. At the end of the day, it's about how do you feel? What are your calories in and calories out if you are trying to lose weight? And are you getting enough protein in? Yeah. Like,
I think sometimes it also just conditions you to believe what, like, if you read it and your friends are having the same conversations, you're conditioned to believe like, well, that's not good for me. I can't have it. And then it goes to your kids. But is it bad?
Yeah. I like the psychology of that, of like, I'm eating bad food versus good food.
Say, like the whole concept of like eating is bad. Like, no, you need to eat to fuel your body.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that. And I think I could speak for like burn trainers as a whole when I say that, you know, there's a good and a bad side. Let's just say that. There's probably aren't the right words, but there's a good side to fad dieting and there's a bad side to fad dieting. And the good side, I think you hit on, but it's the introduction of new ways to potentially do things that you might not have known about or thought about or had a perspective on before. And for that reason, you know, there's a lot of people that find something that worked for them and then that becomes their actual diet and lifestyle, but they still call it this fad diet when it's really not. It's just the diet that happened to actually work for you. And it's bad. Fad dieting is bad because it's contradicting the word diet itself. We wrote about this in the Burn book. In Merriam-Webster's dictionary, it says dieting is the habitual consumption of food by a living organism. And so habitual being the key word, meaning that it's something you do every day that's really hard to break. And so in a sense, the fad piece of the whole fad dieting word is contradicting itself. And so I think, and I believe I'm speaking for Burn Nation and our trainers when I think that our philosophy around like using everything, like looking at all, let's just use a sample set of intermittent fasting, carb loading, carb restriction, keto, you know, read about those things, educate yourself, Shay, and right, like you're saying, and use all of those things to create your own body of knowledge. But try to not get in this, you're bad because you do this keto diet and I'm good because I do this intermittent fasting diet. The whole bad and good conversation is that's probably why the words are not the right words of choice, because it's really about positive and negative energy, right? It's not good and bad food. It's about educating yourself enough to know what positive and negative energy is, because you put positive energy in, you're going to get positive energy out, and you put dead wood in, you're going to get dead wood out. And so we have a philosophy at Burn that says you shouldn't make changes to your diet that you don't intend, keyword being intend, on keeping forever. Don't make changes to your diet that you don't intend on keeping forever. The intention is there. Like, I'm not going to put some arbitrary 30-day, 60-day, 90-day time cap on this because forever is the reason I'm making this change. And my intention is to keep it forever. Now, if you're learning and you're coming across new things and you think that can help you, try it. But don't jump. What I like to say is don't jump from one ditch to the next. Don't be in the hole with your nutrition and be putting negative energy in your body and then stop doing all the things you're doing and then jump to some radical diet because you're going to that's the cycle of jumping from ditch to ditch to ditch to ditch to ditch. Might feel good for a minute to be out of it into the next one, but you're going to be in an emotional recessed place after a few weeks. So that's my take. I think
I like to take pieces from all of it, like we all have said. And I think too, it's important to know that, and I've learned this a lot working through with a functional doctor, is like our hormones play a big role in nutrition as well. And unfortunately, it's not a one size fits all. So like to Shayla's point, you know, intermittent fasting, I have high cortisol in the morning, or that's what my test results were showing. And so that means that like, I can't just go drink a bunch of coffee in the morning. That's not going to be good for my hormones, which high cortisol can be the reason why I'm holding on to body fat and so there's like so many complications about this and I'm still learning, but it just goes to show that just because it works for Devan or for Trish or for Shayla doesn't mean that's what my body needs to be fueled in the best way. So
we can talk more in another podcast, but the key word being energy. Like your food is your energy, your thoughts are your energy. There's more than food that's energy. And cortisol is manifest mostly through stress. When you're stressed, when you're the CEO and you got 15 problems that you're trying to solve yesterday, you're gonna have a level of cortisol the next day that's elevated. And you know, food, you know, is a part of that conversation. But your thoughts are things too.
For sure.
And those also can produce hormonal, chemical balances or imbalances in your body.
Yeah, and the constant stimulation of life. But anyways, another podcast for sure.
Yeah, the ultimate fix, caffeine.
No.
Just put caffeine on everything.
No.
You're good to go. Let's go.
All right, so we have another member question, and this will be for all of us. And I think, again, it's a great segue here, but what vitamins and supplements do you add into your daily routine? So we'll all kind of go around and talk about that. Also, again, not a one size fits all. And I think for me, supplements and vitamins, I've had quite the journey with it. I've done a lot of vitamins at times, and then I've thrown them all away at times because it's too much. And it's like, so there's a time and place for everything. But now I'm on a pretty good routine. I will definitely plug our Burn Nutrition products here because I'm drinking the Kool-Aid on all of them. So when I wake up in the morning, I try to get my collagen and my electrolytes in one shaker, sometimes a pre-workout if I'm going to do an early morning workout. So I'll add those things together. And that way I know I'm always getting my creatine in. And then hydration is really good to have in the morning because you've just slept and you have kind of depleted your body in a way. And so replenishing it before I drink my coffee, which is so hard sometimes because who goes to bed dreaming of their coffee? I mean, yes. So sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, I need to drink this replenish and I'll just chug it. So that's what I do in the morning. And then I usually do noon camp. So I'll do a protein shake. So I'll get my protein in post-workout. And at our smoothie bar, we can add collagen. So I add the collagen to that. And other than that, honestly, I don't take a vitamin anymore. I don't take a multivitamin right now. Maybe I should be. I'll sometimes do my AG greens, but I'm not. I also ebb and flow on that routine as well.
I think you mean creatine. You put creatine in because I've seen you, not collagen. You do collagen in the morning.
Collagen in the morning.
Just so everyone knows that Morgan Kline does take her creatine consistently because I've seen it at her to her shake.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, on family vacation, you took the last scoop.
Yeah.
And I went to go scoop it out for my workout, and I was like,
we had extra.
We
don't
did.
Don't even
I'm just
go
messing
there.
with you. You are creatine hog.
Yeah, we send our supplements to our parents' house and everything. And then obviously your brother, he owns a Burn, so he has supplements. So we're always taken care of when we go back home.
That's right.
So that's my routine. Shay.
So most of that as well, but I also take, I think as far as supplements and pills, beef liver, CoQ10, and ashwagandha.
Yeah.
Ashwagandha is huge for me just because it does help with my cortisol levels and just stress. And all of those combined help with I get chronic headaches and migraines. So when I was working with a functional doctor and we went through my blood panels, she asked what I was taking. And she was like, because realistically each week I get a minimum of 3 headaches and I can tolerate them. And maybe a couple times a month I'll get a migraine. But when I'm consistent with those things, it goes down and maybe I get 1 to 2 a week. And she was like, it's because of the beef liver and the CoQ10. So keep taking those. When I don't take it, I start to get more headaches each week.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting.
So that's kind of like with the fad diet of like, I think supplements is actually bigger right now than the fad diets. And I kind of went through all of that of like, oh, this is going to help with your gut health. And there was, you know, some worked and some didn't, but I've kind of dialed in that these are the ones that I need to take every day.
Good.
Can you
Ashwagandha.
I've read so much about it, and I sound like it's so silly I can't say the word.
Is that the next burn supplement?
I need to be. Well, my son has anxiety and ADHD, and he would take that every morning as well with his medication because it just kind of just calms you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to have to talk to you about that after this podcast, and maybe we can bring it back for another podcast.
We all need some calming and we need some.
Mine and Morgan's, honestly, are very, very similar. I recently started doing my electrolytes
I feel like you and I talked about that on a trip we were on. And then ever since, I'm like, Trish is doing her electrolytes in the morning.
But it does help. And apparently it helps. Like the thing that got me over the hump of not having my coffee first was the fact that I read this study where your caffeine actually hits you is more impactful if you actually hydrate first. So that's where I'm like, okay, this coffee is going to be even better if I just drink my electrolytes first. So then that's how I've like, again, if you guys start to listen to me talk more, I'm like all mental games, right? Like even when I'm working out, it's like mental game. So it's like, it's my electrolytes. And then I do put my collagen in my creamer, which I will say the other day, and I use all of our Burn products as well. I forgot to put my collagen in my creamer, and I have like a frother and do you use a frother for yours?
I don't.
Well,
maybe I need to.
I do.
It actually,
for your protein shakes, you do.
the collagen makes the creamer even frothier because I was like, why is this not as frothy? And I realized I forgot. So shout out to the collagen because it makes the creamer, which makes my coffee, and we all know it makes me happy, even better.
We need to get that into the coffee shops.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And then I also do Ignite before I work out, before camp. And then I always am whatever supplements can help me hit my 100. Well, I usually do about 150 grams of protein a day is my goal. Our Burn bars are my favorite. I could just eat those all day long, and my kids love them. So that's another, I don't know if that's considered a supplement.
I guess so, yeah. It's a supplement to Whole Foods.
Yeah, so, it has our protein in it.
Yep.
So yeah, that kind of rounds out my supplement routine.
So no pills.
I want to mention something before we get to you.
Okay.
I actually, no, so going back to gut, I've messed around with some because I do, like I said earlier, I do have like gut problems. I probably need to like at this point go see a doctor because I've just bought stuff like off Amazon.
Yeah.
And I probably need to like figure out what that is. So right now, no, but I have before.
I did just start taking apple cider vinegar like capsules, and I haven't really noticed anything, so I can't speak to it. But I think I watched something that can help with like inflammation and bloating and digestion. So you take it before you eat.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah. Let me know.
Yeah,
Shayla?
I just wanted to mention we're all talking about drinking water before our coffee. So it's hard for me because that's what gets me out of bed. So sometimes I'll just have like a sip to get me through. But then I will do the replenish with my water. And so the doctor that I've worked with is like, you need to, and I've read it before and I know it, and I'm bringing it up because you can probably identify what she's talking about. But just not eating for the first hour and then having protein and water not having coffee the first hour that you're awake, but having protein and then water. And the water is supposed to flush out, I don't know if it's like a toxin or something that your body is creating while you're sleeping. And then having the caffeine in the afternoon. And that's when you don't get that crash and you can sustain your energy and like your clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I mean, similar story to like the people that I've built this company training with. Like my members, the original Morgan and I had Huntersville and Cornelius, and Trish, you remember back then when you first started with Morgan as your trainer. And this has been the philosophy, right? From day one really is that there are two sides to it, right? It's the whole food side and it's the supplement side. And you could think about like a plate, and the main course, the main dish is your whole foods. And then, the sides are your supplements. And you've got to have both in order to have a complete meal. And the reason we took this perspective at incorporating supplements so heavily into what we do is because life is busy. And if I'm sitting down talking with a member and telling them to cook 5, 3-course meals a day, that's just not going to happen. You're setting them up for failure. It might be some pie in the sky idea, but like, let's land the plane, come down to earth and be practical for a moment. And the practicality is that people are on the go. It's a grab and go society. We need to go quickly. So on the whole food side, like it's very simple. It's if it doesn't come from the earth, you probably shouldn't eat it. And generally stay away from things in like boxes and wrappers, et cetera, and whole foods. And that's like the 85% of your diet, but we got to plug the gaps with supplements. And so for me, it's 2 shakes, one in the morning, one in the evening. Those shakes will be a little bit different in the morning than they will in the evening. In the morning, it's 2 scoops of Afterburn, creatine, collagen. And then in the morning, I'll do a 8-ounce glass of Suja Uber greens as my juice. Pretty religiously, you would say, more, right? Like it's pretty religious. Missed days here and there. And then same thing with vitamins, pretty religiously. We'll take my Shaklee Vitalizer in the morning. And I've done that for a long time, off and on with the vitamins, but definitely feel better when I'm on. And then I'll take away the juice and the vitamins in the PM, and it'll just be, again, that same. I'm working out hard. We're super active here. I'm taking, 10 grams of creatine a day. I know we recommend 5 baseline, but I'm taking.
So that's why our creatine's out so quickly.
Yes. I take 2 a day, and it could be a total waste. It could just make me psychologically feel better, but I feel stronger when I'm on 10 grams versus 5. And then my workouts are Ignite. I'm embarrassed to say how many scoops because I'm a caffeineaholic. And so 3 scoops of Ignite and 1 scoop of Replenish right before, like 20 minutes before a workout. And in the evenings, like Trish mentioned, well, I say evenings, like late evenings, like, let me be real. After everyone's sleeping and I go to the pantry to mow down, acting like no one's going to see what I'm doing.
But
you see the wrappers the next day
on the counter.
That's what burn bars are for. Burn bars to me, or for that, is to curb the sweet tooth in the evening with something that, I like to heat it up in the microwave for like 11 seconds. You can't do 12 or 10. You got to do 11. It's perfect. And have a glass of almond milk with that. So that's my routine. And it's pretty religious. When we go on the road, we'll pack, usually it's just like a simple Ziploc bag. We should probably get a better solution. And we'll pack all that stuff with us. We'll literally put it inside of the shakers so that we're maximizing the space in maybe little baggies, and then pack the shakers in a plastic bag and then take that with us on the road.
And we're going to talk more about that, about how we keep track.
Can I plug something real quick?
Sure.
Oh my goodness, you guys. Okay, so Chocolate Afterburn has been our best-selling product. It just got a flavor upgrade, all right? And you're going to see this rolling out in the gym soon. I got one of the early canisters off the line. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
The flavor profile went up 2 notches, not just 1 notch. It tastes so good. I mix it with almond milk. That little frother thing Trish is talking about from your mud water purchase, I put that right in there.
Yeah.
Oh, it tastes like chocolate milk, and I love chocolate milk.
Yeah, no, we actually have.
I look forward to it, actually.
You'll see new branding. You're going to see a couple new formulations. So it's really exciting for those of you that do consume our Burn Nutrition. Better and, better formulas and cleaner branding, I would say. So, okay, we are going to talk about myth or fact. So we love to take an article and bust it if it is a myth, in fact. So, does time of day matter when working out? I'm going to say that's a myth.
What do you think, Shay?
Myth.
What do you think, Devan?
Fact. No, I'm just kidding. It's definitely a myth.
And so there's a couple. We have 2 articles.
Well, it's a myth. There's a caveat to that.
Yeah, there's some conflicting
first.
facts on these articles that we did pull, and that time of the day matters. So, it's a good discussion here, and I think I don't really like to take the factual angle because I don't have the research. I haven't done the research myself. I'll just give you my opinion about working out and time of day and how it should matter to you. So there may be more science behind it, but I always like to be the voice of reason if you're listening to this. And working out to me doesn't matter the time of day as long as you're doing something and you're staying active, because we have people out there that can't do early morning workouts because of their schedule, and they do PM workouts or vice versa. And so I don't want to discourage somebody that you're not getting an effective workout if you are working out in the morning or in the afternoon. So I think some of the facts that it did share in the articles was around fasting. So working out in the morning, fasted can give you some different benefits, but I think that's also very contradictive because I've done a lot of research on fasting. And like to your point earlier, you need to eat protein first thing in the morning. We actually had, Dr. Abby Ryan has talked about not fasting and making sure you're getting protein in because that's also not good for people. So I'm a big believer that.
Well, you can't say that. You can't say it's not good for people because that's too general.
Some people.
It may not work for select people, yes.
Yeah.
But it's not a good, it's just positive energy, negative energy. And whatever works for you, whatever makes your thoughts and your food connect.
Yeah.
Right? If I think this is good for me, then it's good for me. And as long as the food is physically good for you, I think fasting, it's over all the downsides of all the different diets are overhyped, even if there's facts associated with it, because there's such thing as confirmation bias where people will look for the facts that back up their argument so they can be right. Yeah. And there's as many facts out there for keto as there is for intermittent fasting to say keto's bad and you shouldn't do it and intermittent fasting's bad and you shouldn't do it. And here's all these facts, but it's like facts are really just strong opinions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But if you were to ask me if you should, eat before your workout. Let's say you're working out at 5:30. I don't eat before a 5:30 workout. So I am part of that crew. But then if I'm working out at noon, then obviously I am eating. Yeah. But I've gone to both of those times and I still believe I get a kick butt workout or whatever, so I think it's all about your lifestyle and what works for you, and thinking about the time of the day for me overcomplicates it.
Yeah. Double click on that. I think depending on my schedule and depending on my husband's schedule is like kind of how my workouts happen. So like this morning I took 5:30 a.m. camp because I don't have any other time to take camp. But typically I'm like a noon camper. So for me, I can't put the stress of when am I supposed to work out? Like I work out for physically because I have this goal of getting stronger this year, but really first and foremost, it's for my mental health. And that's what it's really my whole burn journey has been, just for my mental health. So I can't think about, what's going to work best for what time of day, because that's not where my mindset is. I think there's some people that maybe they do need to think about that depending on their profession or whatever it is. But for me, if we're talking about, to your point, my opinion, for me, that's what it works for me, is just whenever I can make it happen.
Yeah, timing is an interesting one because people get fixated on like the pebbles, right? Timing's a pebble. It's not a rock. Like clean food, filling the gaps with supplementation and consistency with your workout, just good dietary habits and physiological stimulation, that's the 85% of it. And then you have these little things that could matter depending on your situation. And timing is one of those pebbles. Does it matter for somebody who's a CPA and working 60 hours a week just 80 hours a week during tax season? Does it matter to them what time of day they work out? No, it doesn't matter, because their profession isn't to be as proficient as possible at fitness. If your job is fitness, if you wake up and you're a professional bodybuilder, or you are a professional football player or a golfer, if training is your full-time job, okay, now we can start to have a conversation around timing and when you should and should not nourish your body based on the metabolic processes that occur based on individualized testing and the processing of your food, especially carbohydrates, from carbs to glycogen, because the glycogen that stores in our muscle is what gives our muscles the energy to contract and to tear those muscle fibers apart and ultimately rebuild them bigger, faster, stronger, etc. So could timing give you the edge if you're somebody who's a fitness enthusiast and you're just super, super passionate about the art of crafting your physical being as best as you possibly can? Yes, then we can talk about timing. But for 98.99% of the people, timing doesn't matter. The only time you need to be worried about is 24 hours. Are you getting all these things in 24 hours? And if you are, that's it. That's it. We don't need to worry about timing or to the 14th decimal place on our macronutrients, or let's just get the fundamentals down. Let's shoot, jump, sprint, run, pass, dribble. Let's do those things first before we start working on alley-oops.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Anything else? Shayla, do you have a time of day that you prefer?
When I first started going to burn, I did 5:30 camp.
A.M.?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was hard, but it was good. I like a 6:45 a.m. camp now. It works better for me to do it in the morning just because it's done and I feel good throughout the day. I can do a noon camp, But as soon as it approaches like into the evening, it's harder for me. I don't sleep well.
Yeah.
And so that's what I found. I think it's just important to listen to your body.
Is it because you get jacked up on Ignite at like 5:30 at night or 6:30 and you just can't go to sleep? Or
my mind's racing.
You're just
All right. So we have another member question, and it is from Amy from our Lake Norman location. And she asks, staying fit over 40, how to maintain and train smarter. So I will admit I'm not over 40, so I can't speak to personal experience, but I'm a big believer that age is just a number. And I have watched people over 40, over 50, over 60, even over 70 work out at Burn. And so we can talk a little bit about, what you would look out for, maybe how you're going to be feeling. And then again, how you can talk to your trainer about what you need to modify and make sure that they know how you're feeling as you are aging. So, Devan, what do you got for us, trainer?
I know Amy, and Amy is an absolute animal in the gym.
She's a beast.
An absolute animal. So shout out to Amy. And I'll take the perspective on this question that I think was meant for her, because I know her individually. And I think, Amy, the answer to your question is staying fit over 40, how to maintain and get better, stronger, faster, but smarter to stay in the field more and to be on the sidelines injured less. I think it's really important to get acutely aware of your mind-muscle connection. Like when you're lifting weights, breathing through the muscle, putting the mental energy that you have into the muscle, almost visualizing the contraction, almost actually visualizing the muscle fibers contracting and lengthening, and start to really make that connection. The connection will always be there, just inherently, the mind-body connection. But if you can actually take that to the next level, to the point where let's just use a simple example, like you're at the top of a curl and you're so concentrated on it that the slightest deviation in your wrist, you can feel how that actually manipulates the muscle belly, and you can actually see it. And now if you look down at your bicep and rotate your wrist, what I'm really saying, not to be too nerdy, is that you're gaining a deeper sense of proprioception, your body's awareness in space and in time. And you want to take that from like the whole body holistically. When most of us like start squatting when we're in our late teens, we look like baby giraffe. And then by the time we're 30, we look solid and we look like we know what we're doing. Our body gets more aware of itself over time. So all you're doing is taking that from a less global perspective and putting that more in a local perspective. So it's the mind-muscle connection, and that's going to help you lift heavier. When you lift heavier, you utilize your food, your protein for protein synthesis more. You gain muscle. When you gain muscle, your basal metabolic rate goes up. The calories that you burn at rest, when your calories that you burn at rest go up, now that sugar that you slip up on every once in a while at night gets metabolized more easy, and it doesn't become something that you have to feel so guilty about, which makes your emotional health better, and it just cascades. There's a whole pathology to that. So that's what I would be working on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just think it is important that you do maintain that strength, because, you talk so much about, as you do grow older, just the bone health and having that muscle, having that metabolism like you talked about. And I think so many people do get afraid at that age and then think they need to do something different, and they need to do something that's tailored towards older women or men. And I would encourage you to keep doing burn, like keep getting in the ring, because we can modify as we need to, or you can take some of those tips that Devan talked about. But it's even more important for you to take care of your body and build that strength up as you age.
Yeah. My dad he's been now a member for, I would say, 5 or 6 months. I've been going to Burn for 8 years. Obviously I work here. I talk about it, and he just recently started going. He's 64. He might be 65. He might be 63. Sorry, Dad, if I made you older than you are. But he feels so much better. So I think it's just to your point, like it's okay if you start even at 60. Yeah. Like he hadn't been working out since he was a professional race car driver, had a trainer, but then took like 25 years off. And then now he's back and he's feeling stronger than ever. So I just think to your point, age is just a number, but you have to listen to your body and making sure you're doing things that are right for you.
Yeah. Yeah. My mom's a member. She's 64. Your mother-in-law's a member. Yeah. I won't tell. I don't know Lisa's age. We'll say 60. That. My mom won't mind. Yeah. But yeah, it's something that this is a program that's fit for all. Yeah. So
another tip that I would give Amy, and this is true for most people in the gym, we prioritize strengthening over lengthening. And the injury rate, the injury probability goes way up if you don't lengthen, right? If you're only strengthening all the time. And so like,
recovering.
Yeah. And your body's going to get tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter. And by the time you're like late 30s, early 40s, if you've been training for a decade, you're going to have some injuries if you're not lengthening. So for most of us out there, I know, don't try to kid me. You act like you're stretching. You ain't stretching. You're not stretching. You got to do yoga. That's Burn Motion on demand, get a membership on demand, do yoga in your local community, find something online. We have solutions because we want to have solutions for you, but there's a lot of solutions to lengthen out there, and do it and take it seriously and focus on creating more space inside of your body to grow more muscle and to feel like you're more flexible, especially in the hips. And our hips and our hip flexors is where we carry so much stress and so much energy. I could get all like spiritual with the chakra centers that are down there and everything in the perineum, up to the stomach and everything. It's not something you want to take lightly. You store a lot of negative energy down there. And when you open it up, I mean, Rachel has told us that she's seen people cry because they sit in a pigeon for 4 minutes.
It releases stress and trauma.
You just hold it, and it's just so powerful. So do not underestimate lengthening. Strengthen and lengthen, especially as you approach your 40s.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Amy, for your question. All right, we're going to get on to another topic here, keeping nutrition on track while vacation. So Devan started to talk about some of the tips that the Kline family uses, but we've got summer in full swing here. It's almost 4th of July, so we understand families are traveling, and there's a lot of holidays, and like Trish, you said, kids are out of school, so things are a little bit more laid back, and maybe you're out more, but how can you maintain that healthy diet and make sure that you're still nourishing your body while you're on the road and on vacation? So what are some tips that we do, Devan?
Well, I talked about the protein pack.
Yep.
I take for me, it's more of an attitude. When I go on a vacation, I have an attitude that's a predetermined attitude. And I'm like, I'm going to kill it with my health on this. I'm not going to miss a day working out. I'm going to be a protein hunter every time we go somewhere. I'm going to find the protein. I will seek you out. I will find you, knowing that everywhere you go has a kitchen. Chick-fil-A has a kitchen. The restaurant down the road has a kitchen. Applebee's has a kitchen. Most of those kitchens have salad, if not all of them. You can find good food everywhere. It is not that you can't find it. It's that you don't want to feel like you made the bad choice. So you blame it on the restaurant and the external circumstances that you're in, that they can't prepare the food for you, but deep down in your soul that they can. So you have to take an attitude into it and have this predetermination that I'm going to have an intention and that I'm going to execute against that intention. And we pack the supplement that I mentioned, the supplement bag. I won't repeat that. But then we also have usually like a gas station run somewhere in there where it's just like beef jerky, cashews. What else do we do? Like
just big waters.
Just a bunch of protein.
I always pack a kid's snack bag too. And then when we get somewhere, we always try to do like a grocery run or grocery delivery. I like to keep a lot of fruit on hand and just like basic stuff so we can at least have breakfast at the house or breakfast in the hotel. So it's not eating out every single meal. First of all, that's expensive, but also then that adds up of like not feeling good. And if I feel like bloated midway through my vacation, that's no fun. Yeah. So I always try to, as I'm going into vacation, correlate this is not a time for me to just go off the deep end on every meal, because you're not going to feel good at the end of it. So the more you can make it convenient for yourself, those are the best tips I have. Just make it convenient where you can, the beautiful thing about this world is we have a thing called Shipt or Uber Eats or whatever, and I always do like a big grocery run. I'll usually actually place the order before our flight takes off. So it's going to be ready. So those are my tips because we travel a lot.
For me, I'll just chime in on the protein. I think I have I would say like 10 years ago, I maybe just didn't plan. And I would go in and I would be like, it's almost like, I don't know why my mentality was like, I can eat whatever I want. I'm going to have nachos and I'm going to have dessert. And then to your point, you feel like crap because A, my body wasn't maybe used to eating that. And then just those foods, like the processed foods just sitting in my stomach, I didn't end up enjoying the way I was feeling. So now, you know, I've educated myself. I know my body a little bit more. I know that if I can prioritize protein, A, it makes me fuller, faster, longer. So it keeps you satiated, which is a big tip for me is not only do I want to hit my protein goals, but I know it's going to fill me up to where I'm not going to then want to go snack.
Binge on nachos.
I actually maybe have like one or two, but I'm like full because I prioritize my protein and then also water, making sure that you guys, G's and C's, right?
Yeah.
G's and Z's. I always say C's.
I know Devan said C's a couple of times too.
It's hard.
Z's.
G's, your 100 grams of protein.
Z-G.
And your water.
Yeah.
And then I think from there, like when I'm going on vacation, if I can just keep those two things in mind, then I'm usually set myself up for success. But I think you do need to mentally prepare first. I never called it an attitude before, and I think I might steal that from you.
You like that?
I do
it's
like
an attitude?
that.
Yeah. I like it too.
The water thing too, one other tip is because I'm bad at drinking the same amount of water on vacation. So if I can like take my Stanley or take my, you know, hydro jug or just a jug where it's like, it reminds me that I need to fill that up the same way I do when I'm at home.
Yep.
You're still not getting the same water intake because your family's drinking your water.
True. That's very
noticed.
true. My 3 kids are with me and they're drinking
I'm always
it.
prepared and they are not.
Yes, true.
Yeah. No, we pack snack. I like the attitude because you're thinking ahead and looking out for your future self. But especially when we fly, everybody gets like a gallon Ziploc bag, and it's nuts and it's jerky and it's healthy options just to get you through the flight and then, you know, after the flight. And if you don't do that, then you're stuck. You know, you're at the mercy of the airport, and a bag of jerky is like $15 to $20.
It's like triple the amount of money.
When you've got a family, it gets to be expensive, or you want to buy the candy and the chips and whatever. So we definitely try to do that, and then just, you know, being proactive and looking at the restaurants and things like that before we go.
Yeah, I with the 3 kids, we have this little like snack. Like you push the button and it twirls.
It's like a round snackle box.
Yeah, it's like a
I was gonna say snackle box. TikTok.
But it's like a round one and it's cool. It's like automated. Not automated, but you know what I mean. And so then what I've started to do with the kids is like before our trip, I'll let them pick out a couple snacks at the house or even at the grocery store that they wouldn't normally get. But we avoid the convenience store where they want all the things. And so that's helped us with the kids as well. Because they have a trigger that, we're on vacation. We can get all the things.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's just, speaking of attitude, there's an attitude toward vacation in general that is just societally there, that if you don't control your own attitude, then you're just going to latch on to the societal attitude, which I've seen kill so much progress as a trainer, by the way. Like somebody working hard for 6, 7, 8 months, and then they full send on vacation, right?
Yeah.
Like think about it this way. I actually wrote a line or two about this in Stop Starting Over, my first book. It's you don't go on vacation and you don't sell your house. Like you leave it temporarily, but you don't like go on vacation, stay somewhere else and sell your house. Like, and that's just as much shelter and food are both essential human needs. So you don't get to sell your dietary habits when you go on vacation. If you go on vacation and you do a full send, right? And you come, that stuff's coming back with you.
Yeah.
Right? You can't sell the nutrition habits back home.
Yeah.
And you're going to come back to that. So you can, I like to use language very intently, like, because I think language is, the lack of intentional language is the effect to a lot of causes and outcomes people don't like. So we'd like to just say, modify a healthy diet rather than I'm going to go on vacation and I've been good for so long. I'm going to have some fun.
Go big or go home.
Yeah. I only live once. It's like,
I think looking at it like moms say when we take the kids and we call it a relocation.
Oh yeah, that's true. It's not a vacation.
Yeah.
We're just relocating our home temporarily.
Same habits. We're just relocating.
Well, and I think if you are somebody that has worked so hard to adapt those healthy habits and you maybe don't have that discipline to switch a flip, like, you'll come back and you'll do the same things. Yeah. You'll continue the eating out. You'll continue the bad habits because you just fell right back into that trap and it's even harder to get out. So I think that's just something to be cautious of too. If you're somebody that's worked really hard to stop eating all the processed food, like the minute you do it, your body's mentally, you're going to be like, I want this. It's so good. Yeah. So All right. And then also, guys, if you're working out, remember we've got road trip. So check that out on our app, on our on-demand library. Again, those are 6 workouts, 3 conditioning, 3 strength, and then 1 recovery video. So you are taken care of, limited equipment, and that way you can stay on track.
Burn on demand.
Burn on demand.
Download the Burn Bootcamp app.
All right. We've got one more Q&A before we wrap up the podcast here, and it's from Jessica at our Lake Zurich, Illinois location. And she asks, does it matter when and how often I eat? Do I need to maintain a eating schedule? So I think this is a very similar question to like the working out and when to work out and all the diets. Yeah. So great question, Jessica. I'll start. I personally, again, think this is a what works for you type of thing. I've gone through doing 5 small meals a day. I've done 3 meals a day. And to be quite honest, like I don't have the time to do the 5 meals a day just with my schedule, right? And so I'm more of a 3 meals a day, and I don't really snack. I just don't have the time. But that's not to say that maybe you need to do 5 small meals a day, and that's better on your digestion, and you feel better, and you're more energized that way. So again, I think it's about eating and seeing how you feel and how much you're eating and how you feel, and then what is convenient for you just based on your own schedule. I mean, my eating schedule is completely different than Devan's eating schedule.
And we have a very similar lifestyle too. So I think it's a really good example, right? Yeah. It's like each individual has to organize, health as a priority, and the tool that you use to do that is a schedule. So Jessica, in your question here, like, do I need to maintain an eating schedule? I would say, obviously, yes, you would need to maintain some type of eating schedule, but the schedule itself at the broader level is going to be necessary in order for you to then have this like subsequent eating schedule. And if you're a detail-oriented person, you might want to eat at 11:30 every day. Like me, I get it in when I can, but my schedule allows me to do that. So I organize my schedule around my own workouts. That's the first thing that goes on my schedule. And then it's all of the family stuff. And then it's all of the work stuff. And I try to fill in, after my health and my family, I try to fill in as much time as my eyes are awake with growing Burn Bootcamp and Burn Nation and serving everyone. And so between those 3 things, now I have a schedule. You're inevitably going to have gaps in the schedule, and I will now be able to anticipate the days ahead, because most people don't like to have the same exact day every day. Even if they say they're a person of routine, they will get disinterested in the long run if there's no varieties, no uncertainty, because just as certainty is a universal human need, so is uncertainty. We need to have predictability, but then we also need to have spontaneity. And if we don't have a healthy balance of both, then our universal balance is off. And so the schedule is the actual tool that makes all that come to life. I always like to say, like, your dreams become a reality when you write it down on a piece of paper, and then it becomes done and manifest physically when it's on your schedule and made to happen. So I think the schedule is the most important tool that an individual can have to stay organized. Can't manage what you can't measure. And if you don't have a schedule, and if you're just like waking up and you're letting the day come, you might have a couple things, because we do have a couple things on our schedule. But if you're not preemptively on Sunday night looking at least Monday, Tuesday, then you're going to get caught up with something by surprise, and it's going to throw you off. And that's how we start the negative cycle of momentum. And the great thing about it is it's under your control with the schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like a lot of the times I say my response to things, because I've trial and erred so much, is like, don't overcomplicate it. But when I dig into that, and why I say that is kind of going back to like the questions where people are overcomplicating it, in my opinion, because I had to do this personally, is in your Instagram scroll, and these people that you're following that aren't credible, that are calling themselves trainers, but they have no credibility attached to who they are. Just making sure that if you're questioning yourself or questioning things that maybe you don't really want to be questioning, or just find yourself a space or a community. And that's why I think like Burn Bootcamp is so great, because we want to build build a sustainable lifestyle, right? Whatever works best for you, and not to say do this, not that. It's like, well, what works best for you in this moment? So I almost just say, like, also to the people who are like, have all these questions, just you are what you, there was a quote that I recently read about like what you scroll. And so those thoughts are in your head, whether you want them to be or not, they are. So just maybe also take like a little bit of a look at what you're following. And if there's some people that aren't serving you in that moment, you revisit them later. But that's just my kind of tip for that.
Yeah.
Can I make one comment on that, Shay, before you go? I think you're going to get me fired up on this, Trish, and I'm not going to fire up too much.
In a bad way?
No, in a good way. In a good way. In a good way. Because, a lot of the game in the fitness industry today is like to make a product and then to tear other people down to make your product look like it's the only solution. And unfortunately, I think there's a lot of pure intent behind these products that are coming out, and they actually help people a lot. But building your business and helping other people is not maximized when you're using what's bad or what you're saying is bad about other people's stuff to make yours look better. That is the problem in general with society, tearing everyone else's building down so that you have the tallest building in town rather than just building the tallest building. And so, and it's a sensitive topic for me because I don't want to be judgmental and I don't want to have those feelings, but also I see this happening in physical reality. And I think that the way that I kind of bypass judgment is to say that these individuals who I see doing this and who you see doing this, I get DMs all the time from members like tagging me in something, and I'll go and I'll look and it's this person and they're talking negatively about Burn Boot Camp, but then they have something that they're selling in the comment section below. Or you see this all the time with like pills and potions and all the quick fix stuff. It's disappointing, but I'm not disappointed in people. I'm disappointed that this industry has gotten to this place. So we need to be a beacon of light to help call that out and not in a negative way, but to bring people into the fold who are in the industry and say, hey, we can't do this alone. We need you. But, tearing other people's products and services down is the quickest way that people are going to remain confused. Right. And if they're confused, then they're not gaining confidence and
they're not making progress.
And all of our job is to help people gain more confidence.
If you're in the health and fitness industry for the right reasons, then that should be the goal. Not to sell more products and make other fitness styles look bad because it doesn't align with what you're selling.
When you quit talking negatively about other people or judging other people, you have reached the next level to yourself as a human being. If you don't feel the need to do that.
Yep. Okay, that took a
Sorry,
turn.
that was a little intense. Fired up.
All right. Well, anything else on eating schedules, guys? You feel good? Anything else we want to say about any of the topics we talked about today? We're going to wrap up. Devan, anything else in the heart and the mind that you're feeling fiery on?
Take us home, CEO.
All right, guys. Well, that's all that we have today for the podcast. Again, thank you for listening. Episode 405. Thank you, Shayla, for being here.
Thanks for having me.
And as a reminder, guys, we have that July focus, the Farmer's Carry. So good luck to everybody out there. Let's make some progress. Let's tag us in that progress. And once again, check out our new category on Burn On Demand, a road trip, and also tag us. We want to see you working out with Matt Morris on the road. But other than that, we are going to take us out like we always do with 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.